when you walk in, you just constantly hear these noises, and what they're doing is they're triggering people's gambling addictions to get them to keep pouring more money on the table. That's another reason why casinos give you lots of free liquor. That's why they don't have windows. That's why they put extra oxygen in the room and they don't have clocks, because they want you to come in there like a crackhead. They want you to lose track of time. They want you to not know if it's nighttime or daytime. They don't want anything that's going to take you out of your spell, because their goal is to get you to gamble as much as possible. So Squid Games does that a lot. So one day we'll have a whole deep dive into Squid Games, because what it speaks to is how you have those who have higher levels of economic consciousness. These would be wealthy individuals. This is what I want you to be. I want you to have high economic consciousness so you can kind of look down on what's happening in the world and understand it. It's not that you're better than other people. I'm not saying that. This is not about elitism. It's about making yourself as elite as you can be in terms of focus, work ethic, sacrifice, and outcome, right? So when you become wealthy, and believe me, when you become wealthy, it doesn't matter. People are still going to see you as elite, even if you don't see yourself that way. Then you'll be able to see things. You'll notice things. You probably have already gone through that. Anybody gone through that? Like, since we've talked about these things, I bet some of you have looked around and looked at some of your relatives, some of your friends, and said, "Man, this is oh wow, okay, look at that commercial. Look at how they're doing." Right? This is the benefit of, I mean, that's when my doctorate's in finance. That's all I do, right? So this is what happens, right? So long story short, what I would say to you is, when you talk about like that show Squid Games, the financial consciousness part of it, there's a lot of it is if you notice in the game, well, you've got these people that are in debt, that are in this financial slavery, killing each other to get these little peanuts, this money that they dangle in front of them like animals. You've got these elite people, they call them the VIPs, that are sitting up in above them watching the games happen, and they're watching the games as entertainment. And this is really capitalism in a nutshell. You've got your elites that have all the money, and they're the puppet masters, and everyone else becomes their goal is to make you the puppet. Their money becomes the string. So they're like, okay, well, I don't really want you to be over here. I want you to be over there. So I'm gonna move you like a chess piece. All I got to do is give him an incentive to move over here. So what do I do? I could punish him by being over there, or I could reward him. I could say, here's another $10,000 if you go over here. And you're like, okay, I'll do it, right? So think about that, right? You have a job, you're making $60,000 a year, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're barely getting by, and then suddenly your boss says, well, you can get another $10,000 a year if you move to California. Well, a lot of people won't move to California, and it becomes a one-dimensional decision, right? It's like, well, why'd you go to California? Well, because I got a better opportunity, making more money, and what else? That's it. I moved. That was the that was the decision, right? So I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to do. I'm saying that decisions should actually be done in what they call a multivariate sort of way, meaning you should have multiple variables that affect your decisions, because that way you can optimize your life better. You should be able to name 8 things that made you move to California, not just one. It shouldn't just be like, well, they gave me an extra $10,000. If you train your kids on how to make $10,000 without having to uproot their family or sell their soul, then they're going to have options, which is going to lead to better choices. Even in the Diddy conversation, a lot of people did disgusting, nasty, horrible, criminal things with Diddy that left them traumatized. STDs, I'm sure, are everywhere. You can't tell me that some of those people that went to those parties are not HIV positive. I bet you a lot of them are HIV positive. And so you done did all this stuff because you're trying to make some money.